Like within the city, particularly Suva, if you're on the south end or the east end of the island, typically you get a lot more rain there, like much more heavy rain there. And then you get a lot more sun and just direct heat in the north and the west part. So Suva itself is on the south end, and now Nausori, the other larger town area there, they get quite a bit of rain. And during the wet season, what would be like December, like November through uh, April or so is like the wetter season. Um, you can have days where you'll go outside and the sun is shining and it's clear, and within an hour you're being downpoured on with a heavy rain, and you'll be drenched in seconds if you don't have your umbrella. And then after a few more minutes it'll turn back to sunny, and it'll just get really humid and muggy because it'll get really hot and evaporate all that water, but then it'll just dump rain again. And so it can be very on and off rain in that wet season. In the non-wet season, I mean, you're still likely to see rain once or twice a week. So it's lots of rain in that city area. We pretty much just carried an umbrella all the time, even if it was a sunny, bright day, clear sky. We took an umbrella with us. You just never know. So weather was pretty fun like that. As far as in the city goes, I'm pretty sure mostly just the zone leaders and the assistants there have vehicles that they can drive. The rest are all walking or taking buses. The buses there, they're getting nicer and nicer, but there's still some of the buses that are just kind of a rugged bus, no windows, just like open sides, and you take those to get around your area. There also are taxis. They're pricier, and we normally only use those in emergencies where we really have to get back. Otherwise, we're going to be late, or if we're in a rush to get somewhere. And I don't know. I don't think they'd be as scary as any New York taxi or anything. So I mean, some drivers might be a little more scary to drive with, but that'd be the most transportation in that area. Pretty much just walking and buses and taxis. Housing in the towns, most of the time you have most of the buildings are cement. They're like large cement structures that'll have, one or two, maybe three separate flats in them. That there'll be like the one owner that'll live in one of them and then rent out the other ones. And that's the most common housing situation in the towns, I think. Some of the ones in the main town can be really nice, some okay. I'm pretty sure most of the flats now have heated water in them for showers. It's like in a separate electric unit they have to install in each shower. But the Mission, I think, put the effort into getting those in most flats. So that's like the general housing in the cities. That's the most part. Within the main cities too, though, there's a lot of areas that we kind of call them like squatter settlements, which are really just like they're the poorest of the poor. They find whatever scrap metal and wood they can, and they build pretty makeshift homes. And they will fight for any job that they can to just keep afloat. In the main town areas, there's a lot of jobs, but a lot of the poor people will sometimes be hunting for jobs a lot or doing cheaper labor stuff. As far as like occupations and wages go, they're generally pretty low. I'm pretty sure like the Fiji minimum wage is around like $2 an hour. And the Fijian dollar's about half of an American dollar. So like they'd only be making maybe $1 American dollar an hour working there, and depending on what jobs they had. So there's a wide variety. There's areas in Suva that are very wealthy, and you'll find very nice homes. And those would be like sometimes, a lot of the time, like the wealthier business owners there in Fiji, or people from like Australia or New Zealand that are living here. And then you'll have a lot of, mostly that middle area, the kind of basic concrete structured homes, and then you'll have those squatter settlements as far as the scale goes. And that'd be like the main town area, but again, that differs quite a bit outside of main town areas. Lots of stray dogs. Lots and lots of those stray dogs. Some that breed and you don't know how that even worked, because I mean, if you ever play Call of Duty Nazi Zombies and you've seen the Hellhounds, there's some dogs that look pretty much just like that. I mean, they're scary. They're just like hairless, splotchy, and pretty nasty. But I mean, there's still a lot of more normal looking dogs as well, and so I never had any major issue being attacked by dogs. For the most part, they're used to just being around crowds of people. There still are some homes that will have a dog, and you have to be more careful around those ones, but I do know some elders that were more aggressively attacked by dogs, but I don't think it's too common. As far as the town, that's like the main wildlife. Tons of birds and occasional cats maybe, but not a whole lot of wildlife in the main town areas. Shopping wise, there's like 4 or 5, maybe 6 main like market names that you'll find those markets in all the towns and all around. But they're, for the most part, pretty identical in terms of what they carry in prices. Some might, on occasion, be cheaper here and there, but they're pretty much identical. As far as when I was there, missionaries would be given about $150 of support every 2 weeks. And that'd be used for the shopping and stuff. Depending on the missionary, some are a little more thrifty than others, but I mean that 150 can get you through the 2 weeks if you're thrifty about it. It can be tricky sometimes if you want to eat more varieties and stuff, because some things will be more expensive. Again, a lot of missionaries ate a lot of noodles because they weren't so thrifty, and that's about all they could afford to do. I don't really know how to describe it too much. I mean, you can get things like milk. It tastes a little bit different than what you get here, but and it comes in a box, and it's not refrigerated. It's like ultra superheated, and so as long as it's in that box and sealed, it stays good for a pretty long time actually. But I mean, that can be a little bit more pricey to buy that milk. You can get bread from the different bread shops, and jelly and peanut butter are a little more expensive, but I mean, if you're thrifty with how you use it, you can have peanut butter jelly sandwiches for quite a while and it'll last. Yeah, you just gotta be creative with food. I don't know, keep yourself entertained if you're not being fed by members. I ate lots of tuna as well. I love the canned tuna there. You come back here and I still haven't found a brand of tuna that I like in the US now. It all tastes like metal to me. But the tuna there is really good. Good one. Corned beef. Corned beef and breakfast crackers. Lots of corned beef there. I really enjoy corned beef. I would buy that frequently. And it's probably one thing that helped me put on a few pounds, but lots of rice. You can eat a lot of white rice. That's a good way to keep yourself filled for cheap. So that'd be the generals of shopping and food that I ate, and from what I observed, most missionaries ate. If you're in a certain couple select areas in Suva, they'll have access in their area to go shopping at cost you less. which is like kind of like a Costco type of thing where it's a lot of imported things from the US or Australia that you can find some pretty good stuff there. I was thrilled when I found Golden Puffs and Marshmallow Mateys and standard cold cereals. They don't really have cold cereal in Fiji. But if you could get to that store, oh man, it was pretty expensive. It'd be like $20 for one of those big bags, the value bags of the Golden Puffs or the different, like, I can't even think of the brand name right now. Whatever that brand is that makes those and like the Marshmallow Mateys and those things. Yeah. So if you're lucky you can get that, but not too many can. I started in Suva, was my first area. And so I was in a nicer, a little bit nicer of a flat. We were a flat tied to our landlord was a member family and they were in our ward, and so that was really nice. And so, yeah, being in the city and serving in the city is very different than serving outside of the towns or cities. But then, like my second area, I went to a more farming area that was all had a lot of the Indian cane farms and things like that, but also had several villages around, and so we had a branch there. And so it was smaller and it was very different, and we had to do a lot more biking and a lot more widespread moving as opposed to the city area. Then my third area, I was living in like a smaller town area, but our area that we would mostly work in was up away in just a farming area, and it was a little more open and distant from modernized society, I guess. And then I also had the chance, I was a district leader there and got to do several exchanges with other areas in that district, which were just as out there as could be, clear out in the bush. I got the chance to help open an area in Nakawakawa and be part of the ceremony where we opened up that village for the missionaries, and so that was really cool. And then the missionaries there stay in a little bit more of a not as nice of a flat. I mean, it was built specifically for the missionaries, so a little wooden hut next to a member there, and they had to go bathe in the river, and just getting to their flat had to trek through a long walk of just muddy jungle. You'd almost have to take your sandals off at parts, and you'd be into mud up to your knees at a few points trying to get through it. So it was a really exciting jungly bush area there, and so I got to just have my fun experiencing that on exchanges and stuff. But then and then my last area, I was in closer to a bigger town area, but we worked even further up in the bush. And so it was really fun.